Hey everyone, it's Mike, and we're back to do our first video on the super popular series and comic, The Walking Dead. I've been a huge fan since episode 1, so this is really a show that I've wanted to review for quite some time now. We're going to incorporate the comics, but without getting too spoiler crazy. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Season 7 preview, and I'll break it down scene by scene.
I'm gonna beat the holy hell out of one of you. Edie.
Yes.
Meanie.
Since you're in the club now, you get to wear the hat.
Love you, Dad.
I love you.
Mighty.
I believe this one bloomed for your little girl.
Come on.
You don't need a picture of me. You never will again.
Catch. The tiger.
You doing this because you want to die?
No.
Stop.
We can find a way. I'm still with you.
If
We can make it.
dolphins. He hollers. Let him go.
Wherever we all wind up. You in?
I'm in.
My mother
I've changed, adapted. I'm a survivor.
pick the very best.
We fight. We do it together.
All right.
And you
As long as it's all of us, we can do anything.
are it.
Through Hell's Gate,
I won't let you die out there.
the ground shakes
Everything's his, or will be.
away.
There are rules. You earn what you take.
Whatever he's done to you, there's always more.
Stay.
We should have made a deal with them when we could have.
You should know. There is no door number 4. This is the only way.
Where iron meets flame.
I don't know what the hell's going on in the most wonderful way.
I am King Ezekiel. Welcome to the kingdom.
The intro takes us through a montage of previous scenes throughout the previous seasons, giving us flashbacks to various characters that Negan now holds hostage. Sort of a tease during Negan's twisted version of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. And you notice that the shots are deliberately vague, as they do not give away too many clues as to who is going to get crushed by Negan's bat, Lucille. But based on a few choice angles and some shots throughout the trailer, I believe that we can narrow it down and make a prediction on which one of our heroes is going to be completely brutalized. But we won't be diving into that theory in this video, as it will contain a little information from the comics, but mainly trailer clues is what we're looking at. I'm hoping to have that one completed and online this weekend, so make sure to subscribe and get all of the details. So here we have a horseless Morgan walking in the back of a group that we can assume to be en route to the kingdom. If you recall in the season finale, Morgan goes after Carol in an attempt to track her down and bring her back to the group. Yeah, that time when Rick's group all decided to split up and get their asses captured. Now, for those of you who may have missed it, keep in mind that Carol and Morgan were not captured by Negan's group, the Saviors. They are at an entirely separate location with an entirely different group. If you look back to the finale from Season 6, you remember Morgan is forced to kill the Savior when he attempts to shoot a wounded Carol. Immediately after, two guys in body armor ride up on a horse and they offer to help him. Ostensibly, the members of the kingdom appear to be decent people, as decent as anyone is at this point after the fall of civilization. Next, we see some guys with shirts marked F and S. Not exactly sure what they're doing there, but typically branding or labeling is an indication of their job role within a system. This could be a feudalistic caste system that Negan has operated since he took over whatever territory he has. Next, we get a tease with Dwight holding someone at gunpoint. Notice again, you can't really tell who they are pointing the gun at, and the trailer editors are loving teasing the living hell out of us at this point. My guess would be Eugene, but who knows. Then we get Negan in a full-on top swing down on whoever is going to get completely jacked by Lucille. There are some clues here to narrow down who this could be, but again, we're going to discuss this in a subsequent video to avoid derailing and just spewing out spoilers. We see Carol seemingly waking up with a bewildered look on her face. Then you see more evidence of feudalism with Negan walking by his subjects and them just completely bowing down to him like he's a medieval lord or something. Next, we have a familiar face with Honey, who you remember when Daryl encounters her and Dwight in the woods whenever they steal his motorcycle. She's actually Dwight's wife. This makes you think about what the role of these characters will play in the coming season. Obviously, they were running away from the Saviors whenever they encountered Daryl, so this is seemingly a case where you had some good folks before the outbreak occurred, then due to several unfortunate conditions like we've seen throughout the show, they were altered into less caring and more survival at any cost mode. The trailer teases at a possible redemption arc, at least for Honey, but maybe also for her sister and possibly Dwight. Skip over a few filler scenes, and we have Spencer second-guessing the decision to accept the Kingdom's initial offer. He's not actually a bad guy up until this point. We've seen his persona bounce back and forth between somewhat of an annoying character and back to being a decent guy who actually cares about the group. But his character flaws always bring him back to that nuisance level. It feels like he'll definitively tip in one direction this season, and it will probably piss most of you, including myself, off. Next, we have Negan sitting down with Olivia the supply lady. Then we get a shot of Dwight, who clearly has some damage done to his face since we saw him earlier in the trailer, and appears to be looking up at something. Then we get a shot of a guy in Kingdom body armor, Walker being thrown off the ledge, which is very similar to something that occurred in the comic, and could be what Dwight is looking at that point. Dwight pops off a few rounds at someone, perhaps members of the Kingdom. Then we're on to a super grotesque scene with some pigs eating a walker. I'm interested to see if this has any bearing on a subplot level. Typically, the stuff in the trailers do. Jesus finally makes an appearance with some gratuitous walker slaying. Then we get Carol, who appears to be high as fuck, and she probably is, as she probably would be on some painkillers due to her injuries that she sustained. We get shadow form of Negan at the gates of Alexandria in a super creepy pose with Lucille, and I'd imagine he's doing his little pig routine from the comics. So now we finally get to meet King Ezekiel with his badass tiger Shiva. For those of you wondering, this tiger is 100% CGI. The showrunners elected not to use a real tiger on the set for whatever reason. Ezekiel appears to be the anti-Negan, another rule of a sect in this world, but seemingly has noble intentions. In the next clip, we get a shot of the Kingdom. Surveying the shot, we see kids going to school, Morgan wheeling Carol around, and some basic forms of civilization. Not a bad place for a post-zombie apocalypse. It's kind of what Rick and Deanna had envisioned for Alexandria. Now we're set up for another montage of random clips, including our first glance at Enid. We see some scenes building up to what appears to be a skirmish between the two factions. A fierce growl from Shiva, cut back to a maniacal cackle from Negan, flashback over to Tara evading foes, and then some weird walkers emerging from excavated dirt piles, and what appears to be a military base where Tara and Heath are holed up. Then we see Tara finish out the trailer with her looking like she's going to completely blow somebody's brains out, and then just ends up slamming them with the butt of the weapon to their face, knocking them unconscious. Her hesitation to kill them leads me to believe that perhaps it was somebody she knew that turned on them. I'm at least convinced that it's someone she recognizes, but we'll have to wait a few months and see. I'm going to try and finalize my Negan kill theory video within the next few days, so obviously I'm fully on board with doing both Walking Dead and Game of Thrones videos at this point. I'm also super excited about a new Game of Thrones video we'll be releasing in the next day or two on the Faceless Men and what they're up to. Really creative curves and twists that we've added to it, so feel free to click on the subscribe button and stay tuned for that video. I'd also like to hear any thoughts or ideas you may have on the trailer in the comment section. Just make sure that you use spoiler tags if you're going to drop any info from the comics. Also, if you have any special videos on The Walking Dead that you'd like to see prior to Season 7, just feel free to drop that in there as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back very soon with some great and exciting content. I hope you have a good one, and take care.